Welcome to the latest Latin2Latin Connection segment of the South Florida Community Roundup, where we bring you expert insights on important topics for our community. Today, it's very special. I'm so excited, really excited and honored to have a truly dynamic leader who has dedicated over a decade of public service to her city and the broader South Florida. And her name is Mayor Michelle Gomez of City of Tamarac. She was first elected and reelected last Friday, which is exciting. As initially started as District 2 Commissioner in 2010, Michelle served multiple terms as Vice Mayor before making history when she was elected Mayor in November 2018. But public service is only one facet of her incredible journey. Mayor Gomez is also a highly accomplished corporate attorney, serving as president of Saunders, Curtis, Genestra, and Gore, PA, and is admitted to practice in Florida, New York, and Washington, D.C. She's an expert in alternative dispute resolution, working actively with the Florida Supreme Court Certified Circuit and County Court Mediator and Arbitrator. Wow, so many different hats, and we're going to be talking about it in a minute. Beyond the courtroom and City Hall, she is an infrastructure, transit, and housing champion, lending her strategic vision to the Florida League of Mayors, the Broward Planning Organization. She's chairing also the Broward County Affordable Housing Advisory Committee, something that we have in common that we'll talk about in a minute. And grounded in her deep roots and a rich heritage that traces back to her grandfather from Spain, her leadership seamlessly bridges law, public policy, and localized community advocacy to build a stronger, more inclusive South Florida. Welcome, Mayor Michelle Gomez, and congratulations.
Thank you. I appreciate
How do you
all. I
feel?
appreciate all. Like, who are you talking about? But I do appreciate it, and it's a pleasure and a privilege to be on this podcast with you. Thank you very much.
Oh, thank you. No, I feel, are you kidding me? I'm the one who's been privileged. So I know we met last year at an event that you hosted for the Hispanic Heritage Chamber of Commerce. We'll talk about that in a minute. But I want to talk first about who you are, why you have been involved both in the private and public, and how do you do all of that? Because I'm sure you have a family and you have multiple activities. So first, let's start with you and how do you make this happen, Mayor?
I'm very fortunate to have family that loves me. Basically, they understand I have a schedule that is a little different, and they support me in doing all of it. So I appreciate it, and I love what I do, all aspects of it.
You know that I think that that's important when you love something that it does not work, it's not a burden. It's like, and obviously having family support, and we need to talk about that, right? Because when you play different roles in life and you achieve what you have achieved to be, to stay as a mayor is going to be. It's been 8 years, and now and another 4 years, correct?
Yes.
Wow, that's a long term. But let's talk about your background because I think it's important to understand you started, your trade is law. So tell me everything about how your career started and then how you pivot to the government side, but then how you now manage both.
Well, I appreciate that. Actually, I started out, I was in school in DC and I had a job opportunity down in South Florida. I was doing special events and fundraising for an organization that I really care about, still care about it. And we were building a hospital, and I had taken my LSATs in undergrad, but I didn't want to go to law school yet. It was the recession at the time I
Okay.
went. Not the
Yeah.
2007, 2008 one. I'm a bit older than that. So
Me too.
90s. It was in the 90s. So yeah. So I in dealing with the attorney that I was working with, I realized I'm like, I could be doing this. And so Nova Southeastern University started this night program. And because I love what I was doing and I needed to be working. So I missed the deadline to apply for the first year. So I started at the second year as a night program. And then we accomplished what we needed to for the foundation. We built the hospital thing that we were doing. And so then I decided to be the not twilight, evening, weekend, summer, because I wanted out. I wanted to get through school. And I fell into, like, originally I wanted to do sports law. and I
Oh,
fell into the job that I'm in with the firm that I'm in. And I'm like, you know what? Athletes need to know how to buy and sell homes. They need how to protect their assets.
totally. Yes.
And for estate planning, they need to protect their family if somebody should pass away. I'll try this for a year. But I also say that because I was only supposed to move down here for a year, and that was July 4th, 1994. So I'm going to be here
My
34 years. So as you can
God.
tell, my timing's a little off on things. Except my commission meetings are on time. As best as I can handle them is if I have people in the seat, we're going.
There
But the
you
rest might run a little late.
go.
But I decided to get into um, when I realized I wasn't moving back to DC or New York, because that's where I'm originally from.
I was going to ask you, you
It
were
comes
born in
out a
New
little bit,
York?
right?
Okay.
That accent came
I
out.
lived in New York, yeah.
Yeah. So I'm originally a New Yorker. I never thought I lived down south here, but my grandparents were down here, and I'm like, it's an opportunity. I'll try
Of
it for a
course.
year as I go back north. And then um, while I was working with Saunders Curtis at my law firm, um, and I realized I was not moving back north. I wanted a fence in my own community, but my community was an older built community. They didn't
Mm.
allow fences. I got introduced to somebody. I didn't know if she was the mayor at the time, and convinced to go to a program called Tamarac University that we have here in the city
Oh,
to help you learn
okay.
about the city, learn all about the programs. I'm like, all right, well, I have a big mouth. I might as well if I'm going to be involved. And
It doesn't New
um,
York in here.
right? Who said I was shy? It just depends on the topic. Um, but there was something that happened in the city that had an appointment process, and
Okay.
I got pushed to it. And my senior partner of the firm had just passed away. My
Oh.
father had just passed away. There was
Mm.
things in my world that were a little bit, and I'm like, try it. And thinking, okay, I am not politically inclined. I left DC because I couldn't stand politics. And at the time I was, okay, so here's the age. I'm
That's
38,
interesting.
right? And I'm like, I don't know anything about it. And I work full time. They're not going to select me. And sure enough, they did. And so
Wow.
I enjoyed it. I stayed in it. And I said, as long as people want me, I will stay. And
Obviously, they show they love you.
it's great. I'm grateful. I'm grateful. I appreciate it. I was unopposed. So on noon last Friday, it was announced that I'm in my last term, and I
Okay.
plan on keeping as strong as I have when I started my first term. And then we'll talk about maybe going to the courthouse in 2030. But that's 4 years
Oh,
from now. So
wow. Okay.
I need to
I
do
want
my
to keep
job
track
now.
of that. I
Yeah.
need to, but that's
Yeah.
amazing, because when understand that politics in Florida, obviously coming from New York, although I wasn't born in New York, but I lived there for almost 20 years. So I guess that makes you a little bit of a New Yorker.
Yep. Yep.
And then when you come down to Florida, you find other New Yorkers. Now I'm finding this out about yourself. But it's interesting. You don't know the local politics until you start getting involved. And the fact
Mhm.
is that you took a step further to learn the system and to be invited, obviously, to go to the Tamarac University and learn about the local politics. So that's well, I'm saying that because I want the audience to understand what is the process when people want to get involved. You need to understand who are making the decisions for the community and so forth. So first of all, yes, I'm excited. I'm very happy that you got reelected, and that's a long stretch.
Yeah.
It's going to be now 12 years. So that says a lot of good things about you. Let's go a little bit in terms of something that we a little bit share about it, because it's what's going on in Broward County and what's going on in Tamarac, and then what's going on with affordable housing. I was appointed by the mayor of Fort Lauderdale to serve on the advisory for affordable housing for Lauderdale. And because of the concerns, 20 years living in Fort Lauderdale, I've seen big changes, right? I was able to afford to buy an apartment in Las Olas, but now that's not the access to a lot of people. So what are you seeing, at large in terms of the county itself? Because we are dramatically changing the county in so many good ways, but there's also challenges.
Very much so. I don't call it affordable housing. I call it
Mm.
attainable,
Okay.
because
Or
you can
workforce.
afford it, and then can you sustain it, right?
Right.
With all the changes that are
Good
going on,
point.
for the fact that I call Tallahassee up north. So it's not the true up north,
Yeah,
but no, it's New York.
sure.
But it's the changes in the rules for insurance, which also affect
Oh.
homeowners having to get roofs redone. I'm part of that. I'm in that situation, and it's difficult. And even people living in condominiums, even condominiums in Tamarac, where Tamarac used to be considered very affordable, very
Mm-hmm.
attainable, and we're trying to keep things at a level and not increase. But at the same token, there are certain things we need to increase if we can't sustain our water, right? Because we
Right.
need to do repairs. Things
Mm-hmm.
are, or fire services. Everybody wants more police services. Want our parks to be beautiful. We have 12 beautiful parks. We have another park coming online that'll be our 13th. Keeping
Nice.
things free, keeping things where people enjoy the community in which they live. These are all important. Um, so they all go into what's you can buy a house or rent, an apartment or even rent, but if you're not
Mm-hmm.
enjoying the community around it as well,
Yeah.
then that's
Right.
not home. That's
Mm-hmm.
basically so. But I've had the pleasure of being on several different organizations, and it's not it's not a vacuum, right, or a silo.
Mm-hmm.
Transportation is important for where you're
Totally.
going to work, for
Yeah.
where you're going to go live, where you're going to go
Walkability.
study, all
Mm.
these kind of things, and it makes it. You could have a house that you can afford, but if you're
But you work
driving
right an hour.
hours, right, and then
Got it.
you're the
Mm-hmm.
gas, or we're not like you and I had New York. We had subways, right?
Right.
Jump on a subway, you knew when it was going to be there like this. The,
Right.
the system, they're working on it, but it's not there.
Right.
We're never going underground, right? We're not going to
Mm-hmm.
have the subway
Right.
system, or even we don't have even the tri-rail, or is doing the best that it can. Maybe the
Sure.
expansion eventually of Brightline services or other train services and stuff, but that takes money.
Mm-hmm.
That takes roadway. That takes
Mm-hmm.
time. So most people are on a bus or in their cars or in ride shares, and all of these go to, can I afford to live where I'm living so I
Right.
can get to go to work or get to go to play or get to go to school?
And not only that, I mean, we're seeing also a lot of people from the north moving, continue to move down to South Florida. Broward has become a center of of an amazing growth. We just saw the new convention center and the new hotel, and they need people to work. They need workers there, but they cannot afford to live 5 minutes away from there. So they have to live in Tamarac. They have to live in other surrounding cities, but the transportation, to your point, is a hassle. The traffic is too much. So what are if you were to say, what are the 2 3 things that you're working to make sure that things can be accessible to the workforce that we need in Broward and Tamarac and North Florida and South Florida?
Well, I know in our city, we had created this. I'm happy to be like a spearhead on it. Um, any new residential development
Mhm.
has to have, it doesn't have to be completely 100% attainable housing, but it has to have
A
a,
percentage.
a percentage of it. And we are doing a lot of mixed use. Like the newest things that we're
Okay.
really doing are all mixed use. And
Mm-hmm.
much to some people's unhappiness, we've got to go higher. We can't stop
Mm,
at 3 stories or 4 stories. We've got to go higher. We're
I
not going to
see.
be putting things where we're going to block out the sun.
Okay.
But our skyline is going to have to change in order
Right.
to, it's like it's economics, it's supply and demand,
Mm-hmm.
right? If
Sure,
we
sure.
can have more units,
You have to buy airspace.
we got to go
I
up
get it.
because we can't
Hmm.
go out.
Right.
And
But that's new because Tamarack is pretty much flat if you look at it. So it would be changing the I guess the skyline of
yeah,
Tamarack. That's pretty
so we
cool.
had started to go to 4 stories for some of the later, I guess, the 80s and 90s late, projects, but
Hmm.
most of the other projects were just residential single family homes. So we've gone some
Hmm.
2 stories now,
Hmm.
but that's not the same. And so we have some, we're talking about Tamarac Village. There's a place 7200, I call it 7200. It's on North University Drive, which is right across the street from our
Uh-huh.
hospital.
Okay.
And then it's also right by one of our fire stations. So we've been trying to make that a more targeted for workforce.
That's
So
nice.
we can
Okay.
have our teachers and our nursing and our
Nurses.
everybody,
Uh-huh.
everyone going can be able to live there, work there, and then also maybe some rental area there too. Because and we need restaurants, we need places to sit.
Mm-hmm.
We want
Right.
everything to be there. We've got several places, and the city has invested money because we never had a CRA. So
Okay.
we bought a few pieces of property, and they're in
Oh,
economic opportunity zones, and we have a strip on 44th, 441 just south of commercial, and
okay.
then we have another few pieces of property on commercial, um, right east of commercial on commercial east of 441. So sorry, I'm still the left right.
That's okay.
The
It's
New
okay.
Yorker in me still doesn't have these east and west done too well. But we know that when we build there, these are some of the places where we know when we're going to put mixed use in there, we're going to put some housing, and we need to
Just
put it affordable.
for
Yeah,
the others, I
sorry,
want to make sure that they understand the acronym of what you mentioned as
sorry.
CRO. Right? No, it's okay. I just want to make sure that whoever. So these are opportunity zones, essentially, so that it could invite small businesses to set themselves. It could be a barista, a coffee shop, a nail salon, etc. So everything is contained within walking distance to these places where people are living, right? So that
Exactly,
homes,
exactly.
etc.
So the mixed use is for that. We wanted to have housing and shops,
There
so
you go.
people can just walk around and little park areas where they have some green space and enjoyable, right?
Hmm.
Because when you build out, if you build out and you don't put a place to go enjoy that cup of coffee and sit outside and relax, we want to be able to have that with a little dog run here. And because for some people, pets are
That's
our pets.
important.
Pets are our kids.
Yes, I
Um,
agree.
so and then the economic opportunity zone part is a financial part to encourage and bring in some businesses that will want to get some tax credits and have some
Mm,
incentives to be able to want to build in the city. Um, we can only do so much as a city, right?
right, right.
But some of the dollars that the government has put aside would be able to help us on that
That's
or
very
help them.
important. PPP
The P3s.
partnerships, right?
Yeah.
PP3s. So that's public, private, and what's the other one?
Public-private partnerships. Public-private
Partnerships.
partnerships. Yes.
Yes,
Yeah.
thank you.
But
I
I'm
want
going to
to
borrow
yes.
something from a colleague of mine, Mayor Joyce Davis from Dania Beach. We were
Okay.
at a meeting the other day in Best Greater Fort Lauderdale, and she said there's this fourth P called for the philanthropy and
Oh,
getting some of the
yes,
philanthropy in there. And when I thought that
yes,
was a really good
yes.
inclusion of that. But so we all need to be working together, and it would be able to help because we can get some of those charities to help people get into the homes as well. But you have other questions to ask me. Sorry, I could just
Yeah,
go on and on and on. I love my city.
well, that what it does is that it opens the opportunity for people to also reach out to you directly or your office and ask for all these ideas and all these. How can they become part of it? I know we're coming close to an end, but I want to make sure that I hit on something important because of your heritage. You mentioned about from your grandfather from being from Spain. I've been spending the last 4 years. Every Christmas, I've been spending my time in Spain and for about a month, and I just love it. I think I was born in Madrid in another life, but that's another
Right,
topic to
right.
talk another time. But and the reason why we met was because of the Hispanic Heritage Chamber of Commerce that you hosted an event and we met and you spoke and you were so gracious and everything. But I was looking at the numbers in terms of Tamarac. You have an amazing diverse community. In particular, according to the U.S. Census, you have about 32% of your population in Tamarac is Hispanic,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And you made a point in that event last year to host the Hispanic Heritage Chamber because you wanted to talk about doing business in Tamarac and so forth. Can you tell me why this is important? Do you think your heritage influences those decisions to want to open up for business for communities such as the Hispanic business owners?
I think so. I think every single part of our lives, whether it's our heritage or it's experiences that we've come through,
Mhm.
and whether it's a challenge that we've made it through or a challenge that has taught us, we may not have succeeded in one way, but have made it through in another. They teach us who we are, and they make us have a perspective of wanting to be able to help. So I know when I don't know some of my culture as good as I would have liked to because when my grandparents passed away when I was younger and certain things. But I've learned through my dad, and I've always thought that it's important to bring out what we know, right? And learn from each other. And I've had the pleasure of learning more about my culture as I've gotten to have a community that has grown. I think as technology is involved and people have evolved, and we've become where we're not in silos as well in population, we've been able to learn more. And then also knowing and watching people. I don't like watching people struggle, right? I like everybody having an opportunity to learn. And when I had the pleasure of being introduced and going to Hispanic Heritage and saying, what can I do? And what programs are there? And Hispanic Heritage came and said, we have this program, Procosando, and we want to be able to teach people how to learn how to do this, this, and this to be able to become successful. Because I believe in the light theory. You have a candle and I have a candle. And some people, if they've heard me before, I share this all the time. I will light your candle. My candle will go out a little bit. It'll go down a little bit, but your candle is going to burn bright. And then give it a minute. And then mine's going to be burning just as bright as yours.
Nice.
So why not give us all the opportunity to help us learn how to have all of our candles burning bright? And so it's a pleasure to assist and have. I love where I live in Tamarac. I grew up in New York where I had 57 different nationalities before Heinz 57 ketchup, right? So that was my junior high school alone. And so I've grown up with everything. We were from all over the place. And then I come here to Tamarac, and the world is growing and learning. And before, it was always considered older, and you were here to retire. But our average age has been 48 and 47 for the past 20-ish years plus. And it's loving how, we have changed. And 32% of our Hispanic population, we are a 32, 30, wonderful mix. And I love it.
That's exciting.
And I had Hispanic, we had Hispanic Heritage. Commissioner Villalobos was on the dais with me, and we had salsa night, we had bachata, we had merengue, and then we had a whole big thing. And then bringing like the empanadas from Argentina versus Colombia, and the different foods, and the Dominican, we all celebrated. And even we have something called One Tamarac. And I wanted it right before COVID, unfortunately. Everybody has food, like it's a pasta, it's a rice, or it's a potato dish. Each of our cultures, you come in and there's just a little bit of a spice that makes it a little bit different. Maybe it's a boil, or maybe it's also a grill, or maybe it's a fried, but that's just the preparation. So that brings us our uniqueness to bring us together, to make us all one. And so whatever we can do to just remember that we all really are one, it is fantastic, and I love doing it. And I loved being able to host. And we are doing Progresando is not doing in the big one-day event that we did last year. They're doing it in different days. So we're going to be here July 9th, I believe it is, for financial services. And so we can learn, people can learn how to manage money and do all that kind of good stuff.
That's important, and that's a topic that I'm going to have on my next upcoming session. But I want to thank you, Mayor Gomez, because this has been fascinating. We could talk here for hours, and I'm just so proud of you. I'm proud to know you. I'm proud of that you've been going to extend your tenure, and anything we can do to continue collaborating, it would be fantastic. I'm going to close the show by thanking all the audience. Latin2Latin Connection is here to bring voices like Mayor Gomez about what they're doing in the community and welcoming people to their community. And if you want to hear more about other topics, let us know. You can contact us at info@l2lmarketing.com. The show is part of the South Florida Community Roundup. Latin2Latin Connection is aired every third Saturday of every month at 7 a.m. And next month, I am excited to have a dear friend of mine and a collaborator, Dr. Cindy Chapa. She's a professor at Florida State University and the director of the Center of Hispanic Marketing and Communications, where I sit on the board. So stay tuned, and hasta la próxima.